We'll focus mostly on the balance changes or anything major. We'll skip stadium as per usual here. Disabled Antarctic Peninsula. Ooh, the team has long since wanted to rework parts of the map. We're really excited about the changes. We hope players will be excited when the changes go live. Can't wait to share the updates with you all. Yeah, this map needs a rework for sure. I think it's been one of the. I don't think it's a terrible map. It's just it's a weak submission from a map rework team that has done relatively well. Now I will say a lot of the escort and hybrid maps in Overwatch 2 have been garbage. But I'm assuming that's more of the old map team, because all the map reworks that they've done have been awesome. And I think a lot of the newer maps like Esperanza, Runasapi, Samoa, I think have all been really good. I think the Flashpoint maps, I think all the Flashpoint reworks that they've done have made the game mode a lot better. I just think like a lot of the Antarctic just hasn't been like a highlight. There's been way too much wasted space on sub-levels, just a beautiful section of the map that is just not utilized at all. And the other two maps, I think for lack of a better word, are really compressed and or really exposed. There's very sharp sharps, like points. The point on both sides of them, including the high grounds, are really, really naked. And then there's all sorts of corners and alleyways that are really, really compressed. So it doesn't feel super polished. All 3 points feel like have major problems. Now, I think King of the Hill as a whole is definitely an overloved game mode. I don't hate it. I enjoy it, but it is very... My cat is freaking out. It is very snowbally, and honestly, there's a lot of problematic King of the Hill points. I don't think Antarctic would even be the worst King of the Hill, in my opinion, but I'm glad any work is great. I love map reworks. It's one I like map reworks more than I like new maps. I don't know what they do in terms of content, but I freaking love map reworks. So, Queen, I'm trying. I think okay. I'm gonna look at things briefly from like my gut instinct on statistics. Now I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. We're not going to talk about win rates and pick rates too much, but we're going to go, this tank was overperforming, underperforming as a large whole. Whether you think that, I don't think pick rates and win rates should be used as the entire guideline for how things should be balanced. There's a lot of context within that. We've talked about that extensively over the last month or so. But it should raise red flags or green flags about certain performances of certain characters that deserve investigation. Now, what I have always looked at is I have looked at win rates and pick rates to drive actions, but they should never tell you what the action should be. In other words, if Kiriko has a low win rate, that doesn't mean that Kiriko needs to be buffed willy-nilly, nor does it even need that she needs to be buffed at all. Maybe we need to put more thought into the health and development of the character so that we can put her in a more healthy state. The same thing goes with Roadhog. Same thing goes with Widowmaker. You know, is Genji Tracer overperforming? Is that really a bad thing? Okay, how much are they overperforming? Okay, then are they overperforming in lower ranks but not higher ranks? Okay, then that could probably drive what aspects of the character that we could change. And I have been very critical of the Overwatch team in the past for maybe nerfing and buffing the right characters, but in the wrong ways. That doesn't really affect because we now know the performance of different characters at different ranks, right? So for example, the recent Tracer nerf, I was critical of, not just because it made the character feel worse, but because it was not really why she was overperforming at higher ranks exclusively. It was more of the perks, the way that she was being leveraged at the higher ranks in that regard. And so that's kind of like my criticism. So yeah. So well, for Queen, I don't like Queen seems to be fine right now. She's like she's decent. I don't know what they would change with Queen. Maybe it's the other minor perk is still not quite good enough. That's the only thing I can really think of, but I don't really see anything else desperately needing to be changed here. Carnage is increased, so I guess she's just overperforming a little bit. Sure, it's fine. Now this is getting very careful to the line that I dislike with longer cooldowns, but okay, sure, fine. The way that I look at this cooldown is that it's not really an important cooldown in her bad matchups. So if you were to nerf anything with Queen, I wouldn't want it to be Shout. I definitely wouldn't want it to be Gracie. And I definitely wouldn't want it to be her gun, because those are all things that she relies on a lot more in bad matchups. Whereas this one is kind of like, if you're playing versus a bad matchup, you know how it is with Queen. You just don't even get this cooldown off half the time. So it's not that important. Hazard. I have not checked his statistics recently, but I think he's underperforming a little bit since his headshot nerf. He can be headshot during block. I like the direction where they did with Hazard last time. So they nerfed his block a little bit, but they gave him a little bit more mobility. They basically gave a little bit more counterplay into his block, which I think is good. You could shoot him in the head and actually do a little bit of damage there. That's nice. What would you change here? I think perks still. I think I know everyone's like, oh, don't balance through perks. Some characters need it. Like Hazard's base kit, I think feels pretty good right now for the most part. It's just stuff like the lifesteal perk is just complete cheeks. Like it's just awful. You never choose it, and you should never ever choose it. So maybe that's what I'm hoping here. They're buffing Jagged Wall. Okay. Recent adjustments to Hazard's block. We're destroying some of Jagged Wall's previous strength, so they're buffing the knockback and increasing the health. Preferably, I don't know if I would like the health increase. I think it's already like pretty tanky right now. I would prefer, I don't mind the damage increase, but maybe this is too much. But maybe this is too small of a nerf. I don't know. Or too small of a buff. I would just increase the knockback damage and leave the health as is personally. I don't mind the damage buff at Jagged Wall. I just don't think I would increase the HP. But you have to be careful with Hazard because buffing his gun or his slash is always dangerous because he does get those, not the one shots, but he can get those combos. And his other perks are really good. It's just that one perk. Sure, whatever. These are I would say inoffensive. Fine changes. They don't really hurt. Ryan, please just give us the perk back. Please just give us the perk back. Do not buff his shield. Don't buff his swing damage. I don't think Fire Strike really needs buffs. Maybe you could restore breakpoints with Reinhardt. I don't think even any of his other perks, like maybe his third person on his shield bash, like because you can accidentally do it when you're trying to third person. I don't still know. I don't know. Ultimate cost. Oh, they're nerfing Reinhardt. Well, I mean, he is overperforming in a lot of ranks, but can I be honest, guys? I don't know if I like this. I would prefer if they needed to nerf Ryan, just chop 100 off his shield. I would probably just chop 100 off his shield. Right up, straight up. Don't make the ultimate cost higher, personally. You know, because then you're going to impact his performance in the right way, I think. This is kind of what I talked about, like a health thing, right? Ryan has too much shield health. That's too much of his value is tied into his shield. So if you want to nerf Reinhardt, let's go and think ahead. Think ahead about the thing that's like the lowest skill aspect of Reinhardt. Don't make ult. Like, this is fun. Let people use their ults. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a nerf, and I do think that Ryan probably needed a nerf, but this is kind of like what I was talking about, like, this is going to be annoying for both high ranks and low ranks, you know? And it doesn't really improve the health of the character that much. Whatever. Not that big of a deal. Not like overly negative or overly positive, just nothing. Just it is what it is. Sigma? What does Sigma need? Is Sigma overperforming too? Like, no way. Sigma's fine. Sigma's still pretty map situational, maybe. Maybe they nerf his shield regen or something? I don't know. There's really nothing really that Sigma needs. Really? That's a lot, no? Is that just not 10? Am I misreading this? Is this 10 free damage on every primary fire? Really? That seems like a little bit much. He seemed fine. Dude, Sigma was not struggling. He's just map situational. He's fine. Interesting. That is a I feel like a pretty large buff. By far I think probably the most significant change that we've seen so far, I think. Can I say something? Can I say something? I'm going to try to not be too toxic here. What was the point of Season 9? What was the point of Season 9? Everything is getting breakpoints back. On aim reliant, not just ability reliant. Remember we talked about breakpoints for non-Season 9 projectile things. I know his projectile size was an increase, but the whole spirit just seems like we've completely lost the script. What a waste of a season that was. What a total waste. It's not even like evil. Like, I like the health breakpoints, but like for the communicated reason, like they really need to address that. They need to address it. It's fine if they said, yeah, we like the game with more burst damage again. We've just done it because we like having more flexible health pools. Sure, just what's the point, man? What's the point? Everything's got 225 HP in one shots nowadays. Bastion. Bastion doesn't need freaking anything. Recon mode damage is often weak compared to other characters. That's true. Making Bastion overly dependent on sentry mode. That is also true. A higher fire rate helps smooth out the weapon flow, increases the threat. Fire rate increases from 5 to 6 shots per second. I actually think this change is okay. I think this doesn't dump more into his turret. And if you guys have seen a relatively infamous clip from a very, very high rank Bastion player in Dorado, the fire rate can be a little awkward to track. This is fine. This is a good buff for Bastion if you were going to buff Bastion. 20 more DPS, yeah. Well, okay, so that is true. So maybe they should have compensated by nerfing his damage output a little bit, like the amount of damage per primary fire, sure. But I mean, I don't know. So little of his clip, like so little of his value is put in that mode. So we will see. I think I would have preferred if this was increased from 5 to 6 and then they nerfed his damage by 10% so that it's more of a consistency thing while also getting a slight damage buff. Freja. I mean, dude, I just know that no matter what they do, I'm going to be... Maybe they could do updraft 12 to 10. But I just don't think that there's anything that they could do with this character that's not going to deal with... It has to be like 12 to 10 or use an ability during ultimate, right? Any of those things will be good, right? What else do they do? Lower cooldown and dash, no. More damage on primary fire, no. tighter spread. Okay, tighter spread, updraft cooldown to 10, or using ability during ultimates. There's no way they make her 250. I have zero faith that this is going to happen. I think my complaints fall on deaf ears. I keep complaining because I'm a stupid idealist, but comes from landing 2 explosive bolts in quick succession. These changes shift power and breakpoints away from taking more towards her base kit. Damage increased on her rev draw crossbow, which is just her primary fire. Direct hit damage reduced from 40 to 30. Whoa, they did it. They actually freaking did it. Dude, they actually did it. They did it. The only thing they missed is they need 250. She needs 250, bro. She needs 250 if you're going to do this. She needs 250. Yeah, so she could 2-tap with the headshots. That's something that I think Tetris was talking about. I don't mind if you 2-tap with a headshot. That's not really 90% of the time that people are complaining about. Whoa. They actually did it. Honestly, dude, she might be trash. Okay, guys, let's be honest. She might be actually trash now. But dude, the guts to do that. Whoa. That's what we're looking for, bro. We need some gutsy development here, man. I respect it. If she drops a 42% win rate temporarily until they actually figure out that she needs 250, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe she can function with this. I don't know, but this is gutsy. This is what you got to do, man. Don't waste balance patches doing nothing. Try stuff, man. Yeah, she's gonna need 250. I think she's gonna need 250, and this is not enough. I don't think. Like this, they're making the ult better. But I think I like it better as a combo ult that you could do a lot more fluidly. I think it increases the skill ceiling. I think this is just gonna be kind of frustrating to play versus. But I mean, this is what we ask for. This is what we ask for. This is not what we asked for. We asked for a spread in Titan instead of a damage buff. Because I think this is just going to be abused on tanks, and her spread is absurd. Like, if you guys ever go, jump in the practice range and just hold on primary fire, and look at how bad the bullets go. It's hilariously bad. But, wow, they actually did it. That's crazy. So if this is good news. This isn't just, oh, Freya's dead, haha. This is, ooh, man, I like this. I like this. This is good. They get a lot of credit for this. They get a lot of credit for actually, gutsy, just going out there and giving it a shot. Junkrat. I mean, you guys already know my thoughts on Junkrat. This is actually perfectly timed because we did the 5-minute fix thing. And so I think kind of my thoughts are fresh on each character. I don't really know what they do with Junkrat. A lot of things for him are more minor reworks. So I'm not gonna overcompensate, and just because we saw one minor rework, assume we're gonna do another. I would be surprised. I would be surprised. I think Junkrat's probably struggling a little bit right now, but what would they do? What would be a minor tweak that they could do? Maybe some perk tweaks, because you basically just choose the same 2 perks every time. The other perks just don't work super well. Maybe some perk tweaks. Whoa, okay. We are getting little tiny okay. They actually base kit it. They actually base kit it. Okay. Wow. And then they nerfed this one accordingly, and then gave it ammo capacity vat. Whoa, okay. Wow. Dang, man. Frick. Didn't buff his damage, didn't buff trap. All right. Cool stuff. I love that, man. Okay, wow. Dang, man. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when we did our 5-minute fixes, we added obviously more things than just that. Don't spoil it. But this is, like, you don't have to do like big complete reworks. Like, even if you're like, okay, well, we missed the ult thing, and this is a step in the right direction. Junkrat might be overtuned, but I will suffer through a few weeks of Junkrat being overtuned if the long term. Like I said, you gotta think long term with your games, man. At least that's my preference, right? I'm not all about like just nerf the OP characters and buff the weak characters. Like, let's think long term here. I don't even mind having cringe characters be OP for a little bit if it's because certain good aspects of the kit were more consistent. Nice, dude. Love that. Reaper, he's really good right now, but I wish that they would. I really don't like what they did with his Wraith. I really think they missed hard the last change, where they nerfed his base Wraith and they gave it into a perk, and then it was because his teleport TP perk was really too overtuned, and they approached it the complete wrong way. It made it so that you basically had to choose the Wraith minor perk, and the other Souls perk is terrible. We already know that. But then also, it still makes them clunky. Like, it feels like Overwatch 1 Wraith speed. Like, so you don't even like consistently get out. So it's like, he's really quite good, but he feels clunky. Feels clunky. Life still reduced. That's fine. That's fine. That's a fine nerf that doesn't really affect the gameplay loop. I just was hoping for more of undoing what they did last patch, which I don't think was good. Put the raid speed back, and then go from there. But we talked about the 5-minute fixes. Vendetta performed well during Hero Tough. Her effectiveness fell off at some of the higher ranks. These changes are mainly aimed at making your abilities feel more responsive, better flow between them, okay? Reducing a few of the long recovery times, making the passive easier to upcut through the projectile speed adjustment. To help keep her engagement range in check, reducing the maximum distance you can throw the sword with Soaring Slice, but this means it'll take less time to perform and a bit snappier. That's a great change. It's like Reaper Teleport. It's why Reaper Teleport was so OP in high ranks. It's because you can just use it so much more consistently, but it means you can't traverse 30 meters, 20 meters with it. I actually think that's a really clever change. At least in a vacuum, my brain go me like that, I think. So again, my opinions of these patch notes are going to be, of this particular patch is going to be the least accurate of all of them, really. The survivability perks have been buffed slightly to make the choices more competitive. Okay. Reduced recovery time of Palatine Fang overhead, Whirlwind, so whoosh, and whoop, up, 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 and then whoosh, whoosh, by about 15%. Cool. Just flows better. Good stuff. Love that. Projected Edge, which is the whoosh, whoosh, the fire strike, a little bit faster. Cool. I felt like it was a little slow. And Soaring Slice is the sword toss. Max throw distance reduced from 16 to 14 meters. Okay. And then what about the speed? Oh, it'll take less time to perform because the speed is inherently tied to the throw distance. Okay. So it's inherently tied to the throw distance. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Life still increased from 30% to 40%. Sure. Swift Vengeance, overhealth increased from 125 to 150. I mean, this perk is still hilarious. Like, this perk is going to get removed. Remember when I said I'm going to streak if the Venture perk doesn't get removed? And it turns out that maybe I overreacted a little bit. I've not learned my lesson at all. I think on-elimination perks are dumb. In every instance of on-elimination buff we've seen in both perks, base kit, and passive, which we've seen 3 of them, they've all been removed. I think this is dumb, and I'm going to streak naked if this doesn't get removed in the next couple of months. So, yeah. No. This will get removed, hopefully. I think her major perks are just kind of cringe. So, okay, keep going. These are fine. This is more than I hoped for, to be honest with you. This is great. At least on paper. I don't know if this is going to feel or if it will. Yeah, okay. Venture. Definitely needs a nerf. Probably just number tweaks. I don't think you do anything with Venture to address like the cycle, it flows well. They're just too strong. Shield ability reduced from 30 to 25. Sure. I would have preferred a slight slap in the wrist for damage rather than survivability. I mean, you guys know me. I don't like one-shots, combos. I like uptime trades. I'm always going to prefer that, especially with characters like Venture that kind of feel baked into that pressure playstyle. But yeah, whatever. Needed a slap on the wrist. Not a big overreaction. BAP support. BAP sucks. BAP has major issues. BAP needs, but it's not the Overwatch 2 team's problem. His abilities suck. Maybe a lower cooldown on Lamp or something. Like, there's just no way that they're going to do what they did with Freya, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, well. Sure, that's fine. It's just not that good of an ability in Overwatch 2, and 25 seconds is just hilariously long. So, yeah, sure. It's fine. It's fine. Illari. What would you do? It has to be that one major perk, no? Has to be that major perk. I think other than that, maybe it's fine. Captive Sun, projectile size reduced. Too easy to hit. Okay, sure. Surprised they haven't tweaked more. The majors just haven't had time. They just have not had time, but that major perk is still really, really bad. Juno? I mean, I don't like the major perk. The one with using shift. I don't think she really needs much, no? I think she's fine. It depends on how deep you want to go. Like, are we going to, like, do any minor rework or tweaks? But I think she's okay. Limited defensive options. Long med. What? I'm wearing it. What? Now, I assume it's 50%, right? But still, that's insane buff. Insane buff. I mean, I'm not going to complain. I like it. To me, okay, so let me kind of clarify my thoughts, okay? Before we go on negative Nancy here. This is the exact same type of logic that I'm going to give with the Juno, the Junkrat thing, sorry, where this is probably too much, right? But this is, I think this is good. Like, sure, I would have liked the torpedo. You guys have heard me, the shooting torpedo thing, but just something like that's a little bit more offensive, chippy. Do She's gonna need to be nerfed, but I keep this. Keep this and nerf something else. You could even see, you could even nerf her damage a little. I'm surprised they didn't nerf her damage by like 5-10% then, if they're gonna do this. But yeah, cool. This is a health change, not a balance change, which I think is, or a fun, even just a fun change, right? It's cool, it's fun. But I'm surprised that they didn't nerf the damage a little bit, right? Cool. Cool. Just would have liked that with a nerf, because I don't think she was underperforming that bad. This is the type of buff that you give to a character that is doing really badly. So yeah. Oh gosh, what are they gonna do with Kiriko, man? What are they gonna do with Kiriko? Like, legit, what do you do with Kiriko, man? What do they do? It doesn't matter, people are gonna freak out. Ah! This character needs a, okay, well, here we go. I have no idea what they're gonna do. I actually have absolutely no idea. She's probably gonna get buffed. She's probably gonna get buffed. Ah! Good change. Good change. Honestly, good change. Health buff for the character. This is absolutely a change that needed to happen a long time ago. But yeah, good change. She's gonna drop a little bit further, but it is a health buff. Long term, this is probably something that you want to keep for the character, in the same vein that you would do this in the opposite direction. It's a really healthy change, and it's something that you can just improve, and then you can buff other aspects of the character as necessary. But yeah, absolutely. Wuyang, I mean, he's still really good. Is he gonna get nerfed further? Maybe. What would you nerf? Probably his primary fire. Probably just a little bit of his primary fire. Or burst movement, yep. Yeah. People have been talking about this. So this is a good change too. Good change. I wish that they would nerf the burst movement and introduce the wall bounce tech, like I said. Which I think, so that then you would actually be able to use it. I mean, I've been giving this feedback for a long time. I'd love if they'd introduced it, and so they haven't, but unlucky. Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, so let's count it up. Okay, so neutral, kind of slight negative. We'll say just tank is neutral. Let's be generous here. Neutral changes, so it gets a C+. This one is OP, but it's a good spiritual change. We'll bump it to a B-. This one jumps to an A-. Like the guts to do this is crazy. This one jumps it to an A. This one jumps it to, it's like an A. It's neutral. Doesn't really change anything. No sim, no tracer, no nothing. I'm going to say A-. Vendetta changes is A, because these are all great. This is whatever, A. A, ineffective, fine. Dude, this might be an A patch, guys. I'm straight up, this might be an A patch. The tank one's kind of, I was a little concerned with the tank changes, because I was like, these are either nothing burgers or like meh. And then freaking, this was like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then Freja, Junk, Vendetta, quality of life, Juno, Wuyang. I mean, this is good. This might be an A patch. No tracer and sim changes. Yeah, that's fair. If it's not an A patch for you, it's going to be through like absence, you know? But through what was changed, I think these are almost all really good.